control of diseases that could easily be controlled with medication.
New calls for a national pharma plan, at least to cover the most common drugs. Is the health minister listening? From the ashes of HMV, a Canadian chain makes a big bet on retro.
Lots of record players.
Oscars' big blunder.
There's a mistake.
How did it happen? Plus, Vancouver has rules to preserve certain homes. Who knew they'd rile so many different people?
The younger generation is feeling pretty much squeezed out.
Improving universal health care has always been a hotly debated topic in this country. Even though it's not exactly universal and certainly not free, it largely covers the basics, with at least one glaring exception: prescription drugs. Calls for national pharmacare go all the way back to the 60s, and yet we still pay sky-high prices. Today, the Canadian Medical Association made another push for a national program for essential drugs. And as Vicadopia reports, the CMA thinks doing so could save us a lot of money.
Little pill.
It's the daily routine that keeps Ada Dominguez's multiple illnesses in check. She's off on disability and only some of the drugs are covered by the government, and that leaves her with some tough financial choices.
I had to balance it. And that's to buy medicine. It's a balance, it's a struggle for me to do.
We pay the second highest drug prices in the world, and an estimated 3 million Canadians can't afford their prescriptions. This doctor sees the consequences of that all the time.
We see people who don't have control of diseases that could easily be controlled with medications: diabetes, high blood pressure, HIV.
Prasad and his colleagues developed a list of 125 drugs, basic medication for the most common conditions. It's modeled on the WHO's list of essential medicines, for which many countries already pay.
So there are now essential medicines programs in many developing or low-income countries, but there's not one in Canada.
In a related paper, researchers estimate if most of these drugs were publicly funded, they'd be 4 times cheaper. $4 billion worth of prescriptions for just $1 billion. And they point to the way provincial governments buy meds in bulk for seniors and low-income patients, and that gives the provinces discounts. But this health law expert says the provinces are still paying more than foreign governments because they refuse to play hardball with drug companies.
Instead, they've come together and agreed that they're going to pay specific fixed prices that are just about the highest in the world. It's a monumentally stupid way of doing things, and it's the Canadian way of doing things, and we need to fix it.
Sissy D.
As for the health minister, she says paying for essential medicines is a reasonable proposal, but not until the prices for them come down.
If we were someday as a country to be able to have a universal pharmacare program, it would be impossible to get there without doing this important work that we're undertaking at the very present time.
Part of that work, according to the minister, is changes she promises to make at a little-known federal agency that sets the prices for patented drugs. Changes, she says, that will save Canadians billions of dollars. But that's of little comfort for out-of-pocket payers who need basic generic drugs, for which companies can still charge whatever they want. Vicadopia, CBC News, Toronto.
And however medical drugs are ultimately paid for, there's another problem. The World Health Organization has now listed the 12 most dangerous pathogens to human health, with a grim warning: our best weapons to fight them could soon be useless. A new study published in the medical journal The Lancet says several families of superbugs can now resist the strongest antibiotics, increasing the risk of deadly infection in even common medical procedures. Some pose an extra danger because they thrive in hospitals and care facilities where patients are already weak. No truly new antibiotics have been developed since the 1980s. The WHO says that has to change, or there could be disaster. Protesters in Vancouver say they will be out in force tomorrow, rallying against the opening of the newest Trump Tower. Donald Jr. and Eric Trump will be there for the grand opening, along with lots of secret security and a heavy RCMP presence. There is a lot of anger about how much the Trump brothers' presence will cost Canadian taxpayers. But some say there are even greater issues to worry about. Lindsay Duncombe has that.
Protests and a price tag. That's what comes with hosting Donald Jr. and Eric Trump in Vancouver. Some of those costs will come out of the pockets of Canadian taxpayers.
It's unfortunate that it does cost a lot of money to deal with protests when they come up, but this is Canada, and we embrace free speech and the opportunity for people to gather and express how they feel. So that we'll just try and keep it as safe as we can.
No one's saying how much that safety will cost.
We're still in the planning stages, but I couldn't tell you.
But whatever Canadian taxpayers pay for this Trump business trip, chances are Americans are paying a lot more. Any travel by the children of the president comes with Secret Service protection.
And when you come here and you see these towers, this is our first love.
Eric Trump's recent business trip to Uruguay reportedly cost close to $90,000 for Secret Service hotel rooms alone.
We don't want these individuals being harmed. We don't want them being kidnapped or held hostage. It's incredibly important that no one be able to exert leverage over the leader of the free world.
But the difference between the Trump brothers and guarding either the Bush daughters or Chelsea Clinton on college campuses is that the Trumps are traveling to make money that could ultimately benefit their dad.
At a minimum, the Trump organization should be publicly and affirmatively agreeing to reimburse the Secret Service for all expenses associated with business activities. There is no precedent for the web of conflicts and the business interests that the President of the United States currently has.
Add the brothers' travel to security costs at Trump Tower, New York, where the First Lady lives, and Trump's Florida club, where he has already spent 3 weekends. What troubles ethicists about all of this isn't just the security costs. It's that some of those bills for things such as hotel rooms or rent are being paid to the same corporation, the one owned by President Donald Trump. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Washington.
The president, of course, will not be in Vancouver. He'll be before the U.S. Congress talking about his spending plans. The White House gave an idea today of what that will look like. Big hikes for the American military, big cuts for almost everything else. But some Congress members still have something else on their minds: Russia and those alleged ties to Trump. Tom Perry has more.
He has been so wonderful to work with. He's a
Meeting with U.S. governors today, Donald Trump laid out a broad vision for his administration's first budget. Topping the list, a sharp rise in military spending.
We must ensure that our courageous servicemen and women have the tools they need to deter war, and when called upon to fight in our name, only do one thing: win. We have to win. We have to start winning wars again.
The U.S. already spends more than any other country on its military, more than $500 billion per year. Trump wants to add another $54 billion, an increase of almost 10%. The White House says the president will find that money by slashing other areas, including foreign aid.
We are taking his words and turning them into policies and dollars. So we will be spending less overseas and spending more back home.
We have a plan that's going to be...
But as Trump tries to get on with the business of governing, his administration faces some nagging questions. The president and his team still under scrutiny over their ties to Russia. Trump's national security advisor, Michael Flynn, was fired over conversations he had with Russia's ambassador to the U.S., and there have been reports about members of Trump's campaign team having contact with Russian intelligence officials prior to Election Day. Today, the Republican chair of a committee looking into this whole matter tried to play down any concerns.
But as of right now, I don't have any evidence that would of any phone calls. It doesn't mean they don't exist, but I don't have that. And what I've been told is by many folks is that there's nothing there.
Democrats pushing for an independent inquiry worry they're being stonewalled.
We are in the very infancy of this investigation, and it's premature to be making any conclusion. I would say, on the basis of conversations that the chair and I are having with intelligence officials, we can't draw any conclusions, and nor should we.
Mr. President, do you support a special prosecutor on Russia?
Trump wasn't saying much today, though he was overheard uttering he hadn't called Russia in 10 years. Donald Trump will try again tomorrow to move past those questions. He'll have more to say about his budget plan when he speaks for the first time to a joint session of Congress. Tom Perry, CBC News, Washington.
Quebec MP Guy Caron has joined the race to succeed Tom Mulcair as party leader. He's the third candidate, joining Charlie Angus and Peter Julian. Party members begin voting for their new leader in September. The Conservatives choose their leader in May. Today, one of the 14 candidates, Kevin O'Leary, announced he's skipping tomorrow's debate, another bilingual one. O'Leary says he just doesn't like the format. The party says there was no consensus from the other campaigns on an alternative, so this one will stand. O'Leary's campaign faces a $10,000 fine. Coming up, your tenant could be secretly growing pot. It's all legal and he doesn't have to tell you.
A fire hazard was my first thought.
And house shopping across Canada, what the same money buys in different cities. A British Columbia woman convicted of second-degree murder has been granted temporary escorted absences from prison. The Parole Board of Canada has approved Kelly Ellard's request to attend doctor's appointments and parenting programs for her baby. Ellard was 15 when she was found guilty of the killing of 14-year-old Rena Verk in 1997. She's serving a life sentence. Iraqi forces made more gains in their campaign to reclaim the rest of Mosul today. They took a key bridge over the Tigris River, which will help them press further into ISIS-controlled territory. This is what the situation looked like about 6 weeks ago. Iraqi forces controlling the eastern half of the city. ISIS held the west. But coalition forces have been slowly and surely driving westward, street by street, block by block, pushing ISIS fighters into a smaller pocket. But as Thomas Dagler reports, for civilians, there's not much to celebrate.
Desperation in western Mosul. In recent days, more than 8,000 have left home on foot. Nearly 250,000 are expected to follow. Families cramming into the back of a truck bound for a safer place. Children frantic just to get their hands on a piece of bread. It's the first time in more than 2 years they're free from the grasp of ISIS. We stayed the night at an abandoned house on the way, she says, and at dawn we walked here. Their wounds tell a harrowing tale of how they made it this far, even the youngest. A mortar fell on us when we walked out of my house, he says. When the dust settled, I saw my children were wounded. Security forces separated some men from the women. They detained those suspected of being ISIS fighters undercover. Other civilians will end up in camps supported by the UN.
The situation is really dire. Many families have said that they can't access food or that food has become unaffordable.
Meanwhile, coalition-backed Iraqi forces made more gains today, claiming a bridge across the Tigris River. Damaged, yes, but still crucial in connecting East and West Mosul. The fighting moved to closer quarters, with the battle proving more dangerous than before, and deadly for both sides. ISIS again showing no limit in its unorthodox brutality. Reports say militants are using human shields and car bombs on the ground, while in the air, ISIS is dropping explosives from commercial drones. The militants are squeezed in their last major Iraqi stronghold. ISIS territory slowly shrinking as confidence they'll be kicked out keeps growing. Thomas Dagler, CBC News, London.
And despite a declared ceasefire, new video shows warplanes pounding rebel-controlled territory in Syria. Airstrikes killed several people in Daraa and Damascus yesterday, even while government and opposition leaders negotiated a possible peace plan in Geneva. Rebel groups are accusing the Assad regime and its ally Russia of undermining fragile peace efforts. Heavy rains are causing chaos in Chile with mass flooding and mudslides, even though typically at this time of year it wouldn't be raining much at all. At least 3 people are dead and as many as 19 are missing across the country, while the drinking water supply for at least 1 million households is now considered unsafe. Government relief efforts have been massive but challenging. In some areas, the roads are washed away. This is the second wave of major flooding to hit the country in a year. And while weather is hitting the UK and Ireland as well, a fierce storm has cut power to thousands of homes and left many stuck in travel limbo. Winds as strong as 150 kilometers per hour have torn off roofs and knocked down trees. A woman in England was killed by flying debris. The situation in Canada hasn't been quite as serious, but the country has seen some unpredictable weather this month. It's been unseasonably warm in central Canada, while parts of the east and west coasts broke snowfall records. Experts say wild winter swings could be the new normal. Carolyn Ray has the story.
Sophie Poirier struggles with an unusual choice this time of year in Nova Scotia, jacket on or jacket off. Her mom is not complaining.
We just moved from northern Quebec in the summer, and so it snows for 7 months where we lived, and here we had 3 big snowstorms.
This was Halifax 2 weeks ago, when parts of the province broke a record for the most snowfall in a 24-hour period. It was supposed to take weeks to clean up, but the temporary blast of winter didn't last. Instead, a burst of balmy temperatures melted the towering snowbanks, reducing them to small, forgettable piles in no time. As the east melted, Toronto warmed up, hitting 17 degrees, the warmest February day on record.
I can't believe that I'm in Toronto right now.
But it ended quickly, all part of an up and down season, all while southwest British Columbia dealt with snowfall after snowfall.
Now we're talking about it because it seems so out of sorts, and my sense is that this is just a little bit of a preview of the kind of winters we might see in the future.
Climate change experts say we're getting a small taste of a bigger problem.
It's hard for us to understand how those colder weather events can be linked to a warming planet. But it's ultimately all a part of this change in the predictability of weather patterns.
February in Ottawa, and Catherine Abreu doesn't need her jacket. She says a cluster of events like this demonstrate how unpredictable the weather may be in the future, and it will come with problems.
We'll be seeing greater amounts of flooding happening in regions, and of course several jurisdictions across Canada in recent years have experienced huge amounts of damage from flash floods.
Back in Halifax, people are basking in the sun as much as they can.
I think this is excellent. I don't even mind not going to Florida with all my friends because we can get out and enjoy the weather.
On average, Canada sees 20% of its annual snowfall in March, so meteorologists are warning we shouldn't pack away our winter gear just yet. Carolyn Ray, CBC News, Halifax.
The Manitoba government issued its latest forecast for spring flooding today.
The risk of overland flooding remains moderate to major across the province.
The weather's been milder than usual in recent weeks, but more precipitation could be on the way. A combination of above normal soil moisture and high water levels in rivers and lakes poses a significant risk. It's not going to save HMV Canada, and it's not going to take the music industry back to the golden age of vinyl, but an Ontario record store chain is making a surprising and some might say counterintuitive move, betting big bucks on retro, which could mean a bigger opportunity for Canadian artists. Renee Filipponi explains.
I like because it reminds me of the good old days of record stores.
It's the tangible physical aspect of a CD or record that John Campbell loves. That's why he was happy to hear this chain of record stores is expanding.
I like coming to a place, usually a smaller place, wherein I can buy my music straight from a human being as opposed to ordering it online.
Sunrise Records has 10 stores right now and is taking over the leases of 70 HMV locations that are closing. HMV Canada went into receivership last month. According to court documents, it was losing $100,000 a day as customers increasingly turned to digital media.
We believe there's a big hole in Canadian culture without having a big player in physical music. So the timing was right, and it made sense for us to try and grow and expand and hire these people and get the business going again.
The new stores won't just sell music, but also merchandise like clothes and board games. But if you're wondering what they are going to do different than HMV, it's a highlight on retro culture.
I think the biggest difference is going to be you're going to see vinyl front of store, highly featured, lots of record players.
In Canada, vinyl sales grew by nearly 58% in just 1 year. But it's a niche market, making up only 5% of all physical music sales, which is still dominated by CDs. CD sales are down 15%. Sonic Boom in Toronto is a record shop that's capitalized on the resurgence of the LP. It welcomes the competition.
But I think there's lots of small towns throughout the country that might not have a music retailer that need one, and they could be really successful in that if they can pull it off right,
Industry watchers say the move by Sunrise will create more space for Canadian artists to sell records and merchandise, but warns this is a big investment and technology is constantly changing.
There's always a long-term risk because you never know what the trends are going to be. You never know what format is going to hit.
And that's what makes this move all that more risky, making a big investment in a business that some at least wrote off years ago. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, since the discovery of some potentially habitable planets last week, there's been a lot of theorizing about how we'll even get to places that are light years away. Paul Hunter has more on that. Oh, wait, there's been a mix-up. It's actually our Oscars follow-up story next. So how'd that Best Picture mess happen? Kim Brunhuber has the details.
Oh, good, I got a sitting ovation.
In almost any other Oscar year, honoring a dead costume designer by mistakenly running a picture of a producer who's still very much alive might be the biggest screw-up of the night.
There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
But even after you've seen this a couple of times, somehow it doesn't get any less awkward. Let's roll back the carpet, go back in time. For more than 80 years, an accounting firm, PricewaterhouseCoopers, has overseen the results. Days before the host's opening monologue, they would have counted the thousands of votes by hand. The two accountants in charge don't write the winners' names down, but memorize them, choose the cards for the winners, and seal them into envelopes. They're the only two people who know who won. There are secret briefcases, trips to the Oscars in separate cars, police protection. Then they stand off camera on either side of the stage and hand the envelopes to the presenters.
We get to be cool for a night. It's a big responsibility.
Believe it or not, before the ceremony, the person who would later hand Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway the wrong envelope was asked what would happen if the wrong winner were announced.
La La Land.
Totally hypothetical, of course.
They would have to probably take a pause in the show. They would ask us to clarify who actually won. We would do that. And they would make a correction probably right then on stage and do it live, because you wouldn't want too much time to pass if it was the wrong winner.
Turns out it's about 2 minutes before you see them on stage, talking to the man on the headset. So what happened? According to the company's chairperson, there were 2 piles of envelopes, one meant for the presenters entering on Cullinan's side of the stage, and one pile of spares for the presenters entering on the other side.
And it said, Emma Stone, La La Land.
Cullinan grabbed the envelope from the wrong pile 3 minutes after tweeting a picture of Oscar recipient Emma Stone backstage, which has since been deleted. The company has apologized for the mistake. Lost in all of this, a low-budget film with no recognizable stars about a gay black man actually won Best Picture.
I don't want to go up there and take anything from somebody, and it's very hard to feel joy in a moment like that.
All the elaborate secrecy, the ostentatious pageantry, seemingly undone by a bad handoff.
This is very unfortunate.
Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, Los Angeles.
Well, considering the criticism of previous years, last night's Oscars were more representation of diversity. Not just the winners like Moonlight, but nominees too. Films like Fences, Hidden Figures, and several documentaries on racism and social inequality. Last year, the Academy responded to the Oscars So White controversy by changing how it selects its members. And since of the nearly 700 people invited to join the Academy, close to half were women and/or people of color. Well, straight ahead, Vancouver's good intentions are saving vintage houses, but some people say they're choking off supply.
A new life for more than 250 people. The Arusa Sun carries refugees from Hungary, those who fought against a tyrannical government and then fled when their cause was crushed by Russian tanks. More than 3,000 people jammed the dockyard to shout their welcome. And they marched down the liner's gangplank onto Canadian soil, accompanied by the music of the Royal 22nd Regiment's band.
Canada is one of the few countries accepting Vietnamese refugees. Under our present quota, by the end of the year, we will have taken 2,000 from Hong Kong. For the past 6 months, it's been up to a dedicated 22-year-old Montrealer, Scott Mullen, to decide who gets in and who doesn't.
Okay, we will accept his application to go to Canada.
How do you know they can adapt to Canada?
Well, if somebody can sail across the South China Sea and spend 2 months on sea, a few months here in a camp situation like this, I think they'll be able to adapt reasonably well.
Noontime, and the would-be refugees are allowed outside for an hour. When the hour is up, they go back, single file, into the stuffy gymnasium that is their home. The Canadian government hasn't had to publicly explain why it's detaining these people for so long, except to say that it doesn't yet know for sure who they really are or whether they'll show up for their immigration hearings.
All of the other illegal immigrants that have come here, they haven't been treated that way.
The turbans and beards are a great influence.
Members of the local Sikh community are upset with the way the government and the way the Canadian public has reacted to this latest boatload of people. This is the image that stands out most in people's minds.
I think they should ship them all back where they come from.
Canada will give political asylum to 26,000 Yugoslavian refugees. While it's welcome news, refugee advocates say the Canadian government is playing a dangerous double standard. They say refugees from Somalia should get the same treatment as those from Yugoslavia.
As we know, the civil war and also the famine has displaced millions of people.
Yesterday, Somalis protested outside of immigration offices calling for fair treatment.
Somalia is more than Sarajevo. So if they don't give it down to Somalia...
Different language, different culture, different lives. You can see the strain on so many faces. Crammed into a gymnasium, the refugees listen to the Prime Minister explain he hopes they can one day return to their homeland if they choose.
And I'm sure that you can feel at home among us.
And if we're saying that Vancouver can never change, we can never change any of the houses that are here right now, then that's just not going to work.
Well, in so many ways, Canada's West Coast capital is picture perfect, with a gorgeous natural setting and a rich architectural heritage. Vancouver has rules to preserve homes of a certain vintage, a certain character. But those rules are having consequences no one saw coming. As Chris Brown tells us, more and more people are asking, what's wrong with this picture?
On Vancouver's west side had a long life. Built in 1922, a local baker lived here first. But in late January, a demolition crew moved in. Building a new home like the one next door and selling it could net the next owner a fast $1 million profit.
This is never coming back. It makes me very sad.
Local author Caroline Adderson calls such old houses bulldozer bait.
We're tearing down livable houses, many cases totally renovated, updated, beautiful homes, raising the lot entirely, carting it all off to the landfill, and replacing it with a much larger synthetic house that nobody can afford.
Addison is the city's best-known preservationist. Her Facebook page, where she photographs older homes before they're demolished, has more than 12,000 supporters.
For me, I see these houses as repositories of narrative. They're not only these incredibly enduring, hand-built, all-natural structures, but they're housing the stories of all the people who lived in them.
Perhaps, but these days the math for keeping such homes doesn't add up. A buyer who can afford this property's $4 million price tag can probably also afford to spend another $1 million to build a new home.
If the onus is on us to put up some regulations that would protect the built heritage for other generations to enjoy.
Vancouver has come up with a sweeping proposal to save its character houses, which would represent a remarkable victory for the preservationists. But in the process, it's also touched off a visceral debate about the future of housing in this city and exactly who are we saving these houses for.
We have kind of poked a hornet's nest in some ways.
Gil Kelly is the city's chief planner.
It's excavated a much larger issue about Vancouver's livability and affordability than perhaps was thought about when this was first initiated.
Hemmed in by mountains and ocean and with no room to expand, building new in Vancouver usually means tearing down what's old. And the Character Home Review would essentially freeze thousands of homes, and housing affordability is at a crisis. Even on the slightly more affordable east side of the city, detached homes are all well over $1 million. In the more upscale west side neighborhoods, they're closer to $3 million. Most condos are too small for families, and townhomes are scarce. Still, the city made saving character homes the priority. And it doesn't take all that much for a home to be considered character. It has to be built before 1940 with an old-fashioned look, a sloping roof, maybe with windows in the dormers, a front porch, original windows or window boxes, and some original detail on the exterior.
It seems like it's going to have unintended consequences, and I think the city needs to think about that.
Siobhan Jackson owns a home near Commercial Drive. It's a house she and her husband worked hard to buy and then to fix up. And she says the city's proposal will hurt people like them.
The real data on the house next door is that it reduced the value by 15%.
She says the city's proposal punishes people who own pre-1940s houses. The city would give owners bonus space and let them build a bigger laneway house if they preserve and renovate. But the penalty for knocking down an old house would mean any new home would be 30% smaller. Jackson says her neighbor's house was deemed by the city to be a character home, and its recent sale price slumped.
Didn't seem there was any room for other factors to be considered. You know, is the home even safe? Will it fall down in an earthquake? Are we actually now essentially putting people in homes that may not be safe? When we did our renovations, we had to do substantial foundation renovations.
Vancouver already has heritage regulations for specific older homes worth preserving, but the Character Home Review covers a huge area, some 15,000 homes, some nice, but many just old. It's a move that many feel could freeze development in some neighborhoods for decades to come, and freeze them out of their dream of owning their own place, because so many expensive single-family homes will never be converted to anything resembling affordable housing.
We talk about housing in any context, I think.
Everyone here is a member of a pro-density group, Abundant Housing Vancouver.
My 5 kids and I live in a Yaletown condo that's about 1,000 square feet.
I live with a friend here. We're both lawyers. We live together and share a place.
I've rented in probably 10 apartments over the past 10 years in Vancouver. I've moved around a fair bit.
We sat in on one of the group's kitchen table meetings. It included lawyers, professionals, and people with good-paying jobs, none of whom say they can afford their own place.
There's a whole lot of land in this town, but most of it is zoned for low-density single-family homes, the kind of places that systematically exclude people like me, people like, you know, all around the table who just can't afford $1 million home.
Vancouver is rightly praised for its North America leading efforts at densification. But success at packing people into the downtown obscures the fact that in most of the city, single-family homes dominate.
We would love to have these mid-density, low-rise, sort of row houses, townhouses, that sort of development. It's just illegal in most of Vancouver.
Out of roughly 7,000 building permits issued in Vancouver last year, most were for condos. Only 422 were for family-friendly townhomes or duplexes.
Meat cake. We're kind of in the let them eat cake world right now.
Hence the cake, and a plea to the city to loosen those restrictive rules so they won't be shut out.
Yeah, it's not that we're against character at all. If you walk around Vancouver neighborhoods, there's beautiful homes. We just also want to be able to live in those homes.
And we want the city to be vibrant. We want to stay. So I think if we can build in some density and some tasteful density, I think it'll just provide a lot of vibrancy and space for that.
And if we're saying that Vancouver can never change, we can never change any of the houses that are here right now, then that's just not going to work.
You like this neighborhood, you like this corner.
I do like this corner.
It's not just density advocates fighting the plan to preserve character homes. Strikingly, so are some of the city's top heritage experts.
It's going to shape, I think, the development of Vancouver for the next 20, 30 years.
Architect Javier Campos is the head of Heritage Vancouver.
We need to define the character more broadly. We need to define the character, how we want to live in our neighborhoods, how we can shop in our neighborhoods, how we can work in our neighborhoods, how those neighborhoods can integrate with the rest of the city.
Campos is also pushing back that this particular kind of character, an English country look, is the only kind of housing era that deserves special treatment.
We term it the Anglo-colonial bias. And it's an Anglo-colonial bias is, you know, I mean, those were good times, right? You know, those are part of our history, that there are good times, right? And so people, I think, go on to that.
Going through Vancouver's archives, we found examples of classic character homes that have remained outwardly unchanged for almost 100 years. But for many immigrants who arrived later, the distinct Vancouver special might be the more sentimental favorite. The spacious, boxy homes were popular with large families. Once considered ugly, many are now getting facelifts. Everything after 1940.
Everything after 40 is just not considered valuable or worth keeping, and that's not really it. I mean, heritage is really about our history and our tradition. And so if you could only recognize your great-great-grandparents and nobody else in between, you'd be, well, I'm missing something about my family here.
This whole discussion about saving character homes probably wouldn't be happening were it not for the huge influx of wealthy new arrivals from Asia, especially China, that's fueling resentment.
There's 3 bedrooms on the second floor.
They're the ones doing most of the knocking down. We met Brian Sung on a walk around Dunbar.
And I heard that there's...
His English is better than his Chinese Korean parents, so he explained his family's thoughts on the character home they recently bought.
I do love this old house, but it's just not very good looking anymore. And now it's been 80 years.
It's an 80-year-old house?
80-year-old house. Maybe it's better if we just knock it down and make a new house. Right. That's one of the options for Asians like us.
So, with the face of traditional neighborhoods changing quickly, perhaps preserving character houses is one way to slow that change.
Some will see this as a way to keep immigrants, particularly rich Chinese immigrants, out of these neighborhoods.
Yes.
Is it?
They are welcome to come. Don't tear down the house. It has nothing to do with where they're from. It has to do with the fact that they have money. And this money is creating chaos in our housing market.
Clearly there are neighborhoods where there's a stronger sense of the single family format in a traditional format than in others. And we're just going to have to sort of break that down.
Vancouver's new chief planner, Gil Kelly, on the job for just a few months, is trying to balance the competing agendas. And he told us he's now reviewing the Character Home Review.
Again, we've got to sort of step back and recalibrate the program. The younger generation is feeling pretty much squeezed out. And so opening up new options for both affordability and different housing forms and choices for them is really critical, even as people here who may be older are wanting to hang on to what they've always known.
In the midst of an epic housing crunch, the long reign of Vancouver's character houses is being challenged from excavators and bulldozers, and also by those demanding more flexible housing options. What began as a move to preserve the past has underscored the challenges of creating an affordable future. Chris Brown, CBC News, Vancouver.
Well, up next, a broader view of housing in Canada and what it costs.
Your dollar stretches 10 times farther than it would in Vancouver or Toronto.
Find out what our budget could buy in markets across the country. Plus, a landlord has few options when a tenant grows medical pot.
magazine. Canadian scientists and their counterparts on the Soviet side of the North Pole have found out that the Arctic ice pack is slowly melting. The ocean is warming up. Its coat of ice is now only about 60% as thick as it was at the turn of the century.
Polar ice will melt, and by the end of the century, this will bring floods to low-lying coastal areas. Inland, there'll be drought, and in other places, an increase in storms. Some crops could be devastated. But looking at the brighter side of things, at least our great-grandchildren should have warmer winters.
Just a sample of the broad spectrum of opinion on the changes taking place in our atmosphere.
Cataclysmic. Not a trivial matter and not one to be taken lightly.
The greenhouse effect will wreak total havoc on the natural world.
All of them are burning fossil fuels. All of them are adding carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. But if I put in too much carbon dioxide, in effect, what I'm doing is putting a dome over the entire world. The temperature begins to rise because it's being trapped, the greenhouse effect. And we can actually see it here on the thermometer just from these ordinary studio lights.
Compounding the problem has been the systematic depletion of the world's forests. Trees need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. As the number of trees diminish worldwide, more carbon dioxide is left to build up in the atmosphere.
The start of global warming can also mean extreme and erratic weather, and the evidence has been mounting up.
Knowing what we know now, how serious it may get, I don't want to see us looking back saying, oh, we could have done this, but now it's too late.
I think what concerns me most about global warming, I feel like we're just in a little experiment and that we're just not leaving anything for the future generations. A piece of film was supposed to have been cut to open this year's Festival of Festivals, but the organizers couldn't find any, so an old-fashioned ribbon was used instead.
This evening, the gala premiere belongs to a Canadian film, Ticket to Heaven. A number of limousines have pulled up with well-dressed people. Unfortunately, nobody seems to know who they are.
Despite the problems, after the film, it was party time, and there was everything you'd expect at a showbiz bash. Stars, booze, good-looking women, good-looking men, people dancing to the music of Martha and the Muffins, and more booze.
It's Warren Beatty night at the Festival of Festivals, where the spotlight shines on everyone. The ushers at the theater had their hands full. It was their job to make sure the fans and the stars didn't collide. But when the big black Continental pulled up to the curb, there was no stopping the autograph hounds.
I'm very proud of myself from restraining myself from attempting to wrestle him to the ground, because it's exactly what I wanted to do.
This was opening night, a gala for the North American premiere of Joshua Then and Now. There were Klieg lights and limousines, but there were also some charming down-home touches. The star, James Woods, arrived with his proud parents, who came in from Rhode Island for the event.
Now, the oh-so-cool set have decreed Canada's little festival that could a must. That, of course, is Robin Williams, Claudia Schiffer.
It's the only film festival in the world where you see all of the most important films. You see a whole year come in advance.
As un-Canadian as it is to gloat, movie critic Roger Ebert says go right ahead.
Yeah, it's okay, Canada. It's okay. It's a real big, real good festival.
This house is listed for $739. It's about 2,800 square feet.
Well, if you had $1 for every time Canadians talked about house prices, your mortgage would be long gone. No wonder. The biggest investment you'll ever make is usually the home you live in. And people love to check out what's on the market and how much it costs. Here's Briar Stewart with a cross-country breakdown.
Canada's largest city is home to nearly 3 million people, but if you want to own a place here, it will cost you, really cost you. The average price for a home or condo, $770,000. If you prefer to start from scratch, there's this lot, 15 kilometers from downtown for just under $700,000. But the house here caught fire, so for that price, you're just getting the property. Or you could live here. For $750,000, this high-end two-bedroom condo boasts a balcony which overlooks the treetops of multi-million-dollar homes. But if you have $750,000 to spend and you want a little more, let's see just how far your money can go in other markets. 70 kilometers southwest is Dundas, now part of the city of Hamilton. This property was listed at $749,000 this month.
So here we are in the large eat-in kitchen. As you can see, it has been upgraded with granite countertops.
When Lori Bolton held an open house, she was flooded with interested buyers.
I had a good number of people turn out, 25 sets of people from all over, local people as well as Milton, Georgetown, Mississauga, Cambridge. So that tells me that people are definitely looking to move west.
And they're pushing up real estate prices. This house was on the market for 1 week and sold for above list price. But of course you don't have to spend that much money to buy a new home. The average price in Canada is $470,000, which means in some places it's rare to find a property for $750,000. But in others, that amount of money will buy you luxury. Take Regina, Saskatchewan. The average price here is $297,000.
This house is listed for $749,900 and it's about 2,100 square feet. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
Kim Kazama says there are only about 4 homes for sale in Regina at this price point.
You're going to get a beautiful home. You're probably going to get a home that, has these high-end finishes and that's going to probably be in a beautiful newer area as well.
Further west in Edmonton, the average is $355,000.
This house is listed for $739,000. It's about 2,800 square feet.
It includes 5 bedrooms and a separate formal dining room. This home is in the southwest part of the city and is in a neighborhood near the river valley.
$750,000 right now can buy you an awful lot of house in Edmonton, primarily because there isn't a lot of competition in this particular price range, and there are some beautiful properties that are on the market.
If the prairie isn't your place, there's a lot of variety east in Montreal, where the average price is just over $351,000. $750,000 could buy you this 100-year-old, newly renovated home 10 kilometers from city center. If you're willing to drive further north, you could buy this place, complete with a landscaped yard. But if you dream of being closer to the coast, why not try Halifax? The average price here, $265,000.
Welcome to 6254 Summit Street in the west end of Halifax.
This house won't cost you $750,000. In fact, it's listed below $700,000.
Still a buyer's market here in Halifax, but your dollar stretches 10 times farther than it would in Vancouver or Toronto. The price in this house is $679,900, and also you can see what you get.
4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and even some nice outdoor space. But if a water view is really what you're after, then there's always this 5-bedroom, 4,200 square foot chalet on the shore of Deer Lake in Newfoundland. If you're easily scared off by harsh winter weather, this hot tub and sauna should help with that. What you can get for what you pay varies widely across the country. So if you're not set living in the red-hot real estate markets of Vancouver and Toronto, it may be worth shopping around. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Edmonton.
Well, now stay tuned for a cautionary tale. A BC man goes public after finding a legal grow-op on his property. First, though, let's check today's business numbers. The TSX dropped 69 points. The Canadian dollar fell 0.3 cents. In New York, the Dow hit another record high, gaining 15 points. The price of oil moved up slightly.
Muhammad Ali commanded a respectful silence and then applause as he entered the ring. The daily workouts were pure show business. First, an exhibition of speed and condition. And then, on the last day of training, he put on a surprise performance.
Now, who's the champ of Canada, too? Who's the heavyweight champ of Canada? Americans in here? What other countries do we have in here? England? How many from England? Who?
Israel.
Israel? Yeah. Am I the champ in Israel? I'm not the champ in Israel? All right. So name of one of you in here, you better be good. I don't want no smart stuff now. Can anybody just take my tail out of the ring? Would you ever settle for that? No, right? No. All right, that's all. You can go now. All of you who bought pictures, I'm going to put my name on it for you. Take time and autograph all your pictures. And because this will be worth about $10,000 in another 2 years. The people here in Canada, I've never been treated so nice in my life. I haven't had no people making wisecracks. Everybody's friendly. The children, the waitresses, the hotel managers, the policemen, everybody's as nice as they can be. And it's a lot different from where I come from.
I'm Lloyd Robertson at Control Central in Winnipeg, introducing our CBC television coverage of the 1967 Pan American Games. And we are having another one of the intermittent showers that have been on and off all afternoon here in Winnipeg. However, the spunky Duke of Edinburgh is nonetheless traveling in an open car and is now halfway around the track. He is going to be officially opening these games. And those well-formed lines are obviously falling apart all over the place. A well-organized parade up to this point, but now it's been impossible to keep these lines in order during the rain. Nonetheless, some of them are stalwartly carrying on. The delegation from the Netherlands Antilles.
His Royal Highness looking up skyward a little bit, and he gets very little encouragement from there because there's an immense black cloud parked right over the top of Winnipeg's stadium. And funnily enough, Lloyd, I don't know, maybe this augurs well, but the rain stopped as Canada came by.
Right, the rain is stopping, and the weather has contributed to an air of conviviality.
A little bit of sun is beginning to sneak through.
I have the great pleasure and honor to declare the 5th Pan American Games open.
Well, renting out a property comes with risks, and insurance is supposed to put a landlord at ease. But one homeowner had his coverage cut off after discovering his tenant was legally growing medical marijuana. As Rosa Marcatelli reports, new rules on grow-ops have landlords caught between protecting their property and protecting a renter's privacy.
Underneath the stairs, and he had that filled with plants too.
Daryl Spencer checked on his rental property after a neighbor reported marijuana plants in the backyard. Inside, the retired fire inspector found dozens of other plants and more.
Lights and fans and extension cords hanging from the ceiling.
The tenant had a medical marijuana license that allowed him to legally grow pot.
I was worried about the fire hazard.
When Spencer let his insurance company know about the medical grow-op, it canceled his coverage, saying legal or not, it was too risky. For months, he couldn't find a replacement policy. Most basic home insurance policies don't cover marijuana-related damages.
You can lose everything that you've worked for your whole life.
Under new federal rules, landlords can do very little if a tenant is growing licensed medical marijuana. In fact, they don't even have the right to know it's happening, and that's to protect the grower's privacy.
What's most unnerving...
This advocate says Health Canada failed to provide clear direction for landlords and insurers.
If you're a landlord, and let's look at a situation where you have a basement suite, a mortgage helper. The reality is that currently, you could wake up one morning and you could find a medical marijuana grow-op in your basement. that you really can't do a whole lot about.
Go Public also found while Health Canada put out specific guidelines on how to safely set up medical marijuana grows, it wants local authorities to make sure safety rules are being followed. Problem is, federal privacy regulations prevent local authorities from even knowing where the pot is being grown. More than 30,000 people in Canada have permits to grow cannabis for their personal medical use.
This was the area that was the biggest concern.
Daryl Spencer eventually found an insurance company that specializes in covering medical grow-ops. Coverage is twice as expensive. The federal health minister's office declined our request for an interview. Rosa Marcatelli, CBC News, Calgary.
Well, if you want our Go Public team to look into a story, get in touch. Just send us an email at gopublic@cbc.ca. Up next, some British soccer fans had regrets the morning after. Team spirit can really get expensive.
Reform's Chief of Policy, Steve Harper, previews a major theme of the weekend.
Reformers want a strong country built by those who want in, not by those who want out.
I guess in terms of the results in Calgary West tonight, there's only one thing I can say, along the lines of what Don Cherry always says, and that's
48,561, which is 55.04%.
This country needs a party dedicated not to worshiping or taking advantage of the system, but to reforming the system in this country to better serve the interests of ordinary, hard-working, common-sense Canadians.
Good evening. Stephen Harper and Peter MacKay were all smiles and handshakes today as they took the wraps off their historic deal to merge the Progressive Conservatives and the Canadian Alliance.
This division of Conservatives is ending. Our swords will henceforth be pointed at the Liberals, not at each other.
In the end, the campaign's frontrunner, the former leader of the Canadian Alliance, won the leadership on the first round of voting, denying Belinda Stronach and Tony Clement a second round to try to overtake him.
The tired, old, and corrupt Liberal Party is right now cornered like an angry rat.
We are saying it is going to be a Conservative minority government. You're looking at the 22nd Prime Minister of Canada.
Friends, I have never been so proud of our great country, and I am honored and overwhelmed to be asked to lead it.
Most hours have 60 minutes. This hour has 7 days. Tonight, Ralph Nader charges the Detroit car companies with running risks that can't hurt them, but do hurt us.
I could give an example of the Buick Roadmaster in 1953, the one with power brakes, came onto the market, many thousands of them, with a defective braking system. Now,
you mean in the 53 Buick Roadmaster,
with power
a driver
brakes.
would literally go from normal brakes to no brakes like that?
Right, that's right. This is documented in court records, which is very interesting. It shows you that the only way we find out about these things is through the cumbrous process of the judicial system. So what you want to do is make an overwhelming systematic case to overcome the resistance of industry. The stronger a case you make, the more scientists you have working on the project on an independent, objective basis, the more overpowering the forces of humane automotive technology will be.
A few supporters of the Crystal Palace Soccer Club misplaced their hooliganism. They vandalized this bus, reportedly assuming it belonged to a rival team. Turns out it's Crystal Palace's bus, and it'll cost the team $65,000 to fix it. SpaceX teased a new mission to the moon. CEO Elon Musk says 2 private and wealthy citizens are paying the company to orbit the moon as early as next year. SpaceX plans to use its new Falcon Heavy rocket which has its first test scheduled this summer. That's the National this Monday night. For news at any hour, you can always go to our website, cbcnews.ca. I'm Peter Mansbridge. Thanks for watching.